At the cross her station keeping, stood the mournful mother weeping, close to Jesus to the last. Through her heart his sorrow sharing, all his bitter anguish bearing. Now at length the sword has passed. Oh, how sad and sore distressed was that mother highly blessed, of the sole begotten one. Christ above in torment hangs, she beneath beholds the pangs of her dying glorious Son. Is there one who would not weep, whelmed in misery so deep, Christ's dear mother to behold? Can the human heart refrain from partaking in her pain, in that mother's pain untold? Bruised, derided, cursed, defiled, she beheld her tender child, all with bloody scourges rent, for the sins of his own nation, saw him hang in desolation, till his spirit forth he sent. O the mother font of love, touch my spirit from above, make my heart with thine accord. Make me feel as thou dost felt, make my soul to glow and melt with the love of Christ my Lord. Holy Mother, pierce me through, in my heart each wound renew, of my Savior crucified. Let me share with thee his pain, who for all my sins was slain, who for me in torment died. Let me mingle tears with thee, mourning him who mourned for me, all the days that I may live. By the cross with thee to stay, there with thee to weep and pray. All I ask of thee to give. Virgin of all virgins blessed, listen to my fond request. Let me share thy grief divine.
Stabat Mater Dolorosa stands the Mother of Sorrows. Stands. In the English translation, it takes us to the second or third line. At the cross her station keeping, Second line, stood the mournful mother weeping. But in the Latin, those first two words, stands the mother. Did she stand that she could see his face? Did she stand that it was close as eye to eye? Did she stand and their eyes met and he saw her incredible love, her unconditional love, her love for him, not only as a son, but as the first disciple, the disciple who most took close to heart all of his words, because after all, she bore him, the Son of God. She stood in her place. We often hear about standing up for one's rights. We often hear that he took a stand. We often hear that they stood in their place. And what is so important as a mother is to stand in her place, to be that person who above all stands with her child. We know that not all mothers have that capability, but certainly the ideal and the one visible in Mary is the mother stands in her place. The mother who had stood all along him, the mother who had heard him preach, the mother and her friends who moved from place to place, the mother who had seen him on the road to Calvary. Did she also see him being crowned and scourged with thorns? Was she part of that bigger crowd? She certainly would have been standing to catch a glimpse, to catch what was going on. And then that incredible moment when she met him carrying his cross. If there's anything that people have shared with me that is so awful about having, for a mother to have a child in pain, is to see the child suffering and to be able to do nothing about it. When kids are little, parents can kiss their boo-boos and make them better. But when they grow up, to see a child, whether it's self-doubt or whether they're going through the avenging stage of becoming their own person, maybe they're making some really awful choices. Maybe they have some terrible disease. But for a mother to see their son, their daughter suffering, and not to be able to take their place. How often do we hear parents say, I would rather die than my child. I've lived my life. And so Mary met her son, and he met her gaze. And she met him on the way to the cross. Certainly, she was standing at that point. She was standing there, and by her eyes, by her glance of love, supported him, enabled him. And now she stands at the foot of the cross. She would have seen him being nailed to the cross. She would have seen him stripped of his garments, stripped of his human dignity, stripped, put out for the elements. She would have seen them when they took their clothes off with the blood sticking to the garments. She would have seen the soldiers cast lots for these garments, for this cloak that was woven in one piece from top to bottom. She would have been there when they would have nailed him to the cross. How many people have to go through watching their children come back from bad mistakes, of going through the withdrawal from drugs or alcohol, or coming out from a terrible relationship, or coming back and asking for another chance, and the terrible decisions that parents have to make about this. Is this another chance, or is this another enablement? To watch their children when they have to take radiation, when they have to take chemo treatments, when they are subjected to a debilitating disease, and watch them wither away. Mary stands at the cross. We see so many mothers and fathers who stand with Jesus. They stand sorrowful. I would think for a mother, this has to be one of the most comforting realities in the whole gospel, is that Mary suffered. Is that whatever suffering, whether the woman suffers the loss of her spouse, as we believe Mary did, and certainly the loss of a child. It doesn't matter how old they are. It is something wrong, something intuitively wrong for a child to die before their mother. Did she also get taunted? Well, you didn't do a very good job of raising him, did you? Her heart must have broken at every word that they accused him of everything that they said. And she stood at her place. And that's what we are called to do. We are called to stand where we are. We are called to love God where we are. We are called upon and know that we can call to Mary to help us in what breaks our heart, what pierces our heart. We call to Mary for the grace to stand and to keep watch as she did with Jesus. At the cross